Hello everyone. First off, rest assured I'll definitely be recording more content for this month, including starting my Sun and Moon Season 2 vlogs. Around the 17th at least, as for the Ultra Adventure season, as well as my next few Bits and Plus what I've been wanting to do for a while now, both films that have come very recently, he shows that I've been at a platform as well as weird things I grew up with that I want to share with you all. Also, but first off, I got a film that's been really the butt of many complaints from our fan base, and even though I was not in the target audience for this film, I could definitely understand why they're unhappy with it when it finally came on TV, as well as with now being on Disney Plus, as per the recent merger with Disney and Fox. Diary of a Wimpy Kid, The Long Haul. This is gonna be like a sort of like a VLOG+Ramble rather than a full-on review. So just so you know, so let's get this started. So this film is like the fourth film overall in the Diary of a Wimpy Kid series, and loosely based on the book of the same name. I will disclose for the record that even though I was clearly not in the target audience for the other books and movies, I at least appreciated them for what they were. That their depiction of how awkward growing up can be was, in its core, fairly earnest. And even though I came of age in 2010 when the first film was released, which, wow, a decade ago, all three of them, including Second Melodic Rules and the third film, which combined the stories of The Last Straw and Dog Days, due to the fact that, much like the ones of stories, kid actors do grow up, and there was definitely a very strange way to make it all work, but they somehow did. Capturing the tone that Jeff Kinney was trying to portray. Especially in case the casting was actually pretty spot on, like Steve Zahn as their father, who has appeared in many comedies beforehand, and some good, some bad, but fit oddly well, and even more with how, like with Valdrick in the original trilogy of sorts, where he was transformed from just like a stick figure basically in the books to being cast as different boss tech from Survival of the Dead fame. But even though this film technically is not a reboot, they basically recast everyone, and even the children, even the parents. The child is again fair enough, but this is definitely always a sign. And on top of that, I'm not going to let the inciting incidents really dwell on me too much. That's because the short version is basically Greg wants to be internet famous because of a situation in a restaurant, and that just also coincides with his parents trying to get to their great grandmothers for her 90th birthday. So right off, apart from the basic premise of like the disastrous road trip, pretty metaphor, this movie already has very little to do with the book on which it's based, man. And when one of my major complaints is that your movie is not like Dark Wimpy Kid, The Long Haul, then people, we got some problems here. Yeah. So, as you can imagine, it's not a hard take to say that this movie is, to put it mildly, not very good, man. The whole thing seems very cheap and very rushed, despite the fact that it came out 5 years after the previous film did, which in itself is a bit of a risk. Especially in an age where even we don't have an MCU movie in theaters, we at least have some idea of what they're planning and when we can see it. So, yeah. And they try to riff on that kind of session, like piggybacking off for Volume 2 and Wonder Woman, both much better movies, by the way. Hey, and yet, I'm not really exaggerating that I did not laugh a single time in this movie. In fact, you can tell by the shirt that I'm chosen today that I actually consider that our Alien Covenant, which came out at the same time and is a sci-fi horror film, mind you, to be a funny movie. Granted, and a lot of that is probably not for the reasons that Ridley Scott had in mind, but still, I just find it more entertaining in some respects, man. But it basically hits all the usual whole notes about lousy kids movies you would imagine, like jokes about flatulence and excrement and getting guns, everything from mud to fried butter of all things. And it's like they go to a roadside carnival and they had too much of the fried butter and they get sick on the toilet roll. And personally, I thought that joke was funny when we did in The Sandlot. I mean, there's a lot of also derivation of other movies that are much better. A couple ones that including some ones I looked at, such as Goofy Movie, as well as taking a lot of riffs from like the National Lampoon's Vacation series. Heck, even the poster has the new Greg trying to do a similar kind of pose that Chevy Chase did on the poster of the first Vacation from '83. Yeah, there's even, and naturally there's also a scene where one of the ways that Panic Greg wants to try and get internet famous is to go follow this JonTron knockoff called Mac Digby to a video game convention, which happens to be in the same vicinity of where they're going to see their great grandmother. I mean, I think they're trying to be like, trying to show us like E3 or Minecon even. It's hard for me to buy Roderick dismissing everyone as quote unquote nerds when, in all likelihood, he and Greg will probably be on the same stream playing Overwatch or just need two of the Universe Twisted Wizard games, which, yeah. And they keep trying to force this one meme, but him saying it'll be like on his tombstone, when in reality, he would probably go the way of other ones that have mystified me, like the Arrow to the Knee or Uganda Knuckles, man. Because typically, despite what film claims, reality is shelf life of a meme, unless it can be transformed for other ones, would probably be at best a year. Hence why you have so many ones that are SpongeBob reaction images, or you have Surprise Pikachu begetting the Surprise Sobble, and maybe now Surprise Calyrex as well. So it's and also I will have to once again address the elephant in the room. The most infamous recast was of Roderick, who sure, he wasn't the sharpest knife in the drawer in the books or the previous movies, but there wasn't, again, I had to say, hey again, poor Devin Bostic. I mean, he just seemed like one of the most spot-on choices, and here he does just things that would actually just kind of baffling, like all the promos used as part where apparently he was so dense he couldn't even tell the hotel room's microwave from its safe. I mean, and even I could tell that, since, and I mean, he's definitely, at times the cast seems like they don't want to be there and just want to go home, and others they're just like they're mugging, like a kid just downed an entire case of Mountain Dew and about 6 Reese's Pumpkins, and that's at. Yeah, if you remember seeing I might remember seeing all those Not My Roderick tags on social media, like I did my Twitter feed in that time frame. Yep, that's definitely, I can definitely see why they're angry. I mean, even if at times, the amount of energy he puts in might be the most out of the entire cast, to a point where he's so cartoonish. He almost seems like an like an in real life Fortnite avatar, or half expecting to just start her doing dance the crab rave without a moment's noticed. I mean, it's as if to say the franchise is dead. Yeah. So on top of being given like an 18% tomato meter rating, a 39 Metascore, and a 4.3 out of 10 IMDb rating, it was also the lowest grossing installment, thereby meaning that there's, since Fox, they, along with Jeff Kinney, are planning to reboot the French Disney Plus, as much as they also have adapted the fellow series Timmy Failure. Whether or not this entitles another movie or even like a TV series, I welcome the idea. Yeah, I mean, it says makes it that much easier to disregard this movie. So, I guess as to how it closes out, that much like the last few years, I guess you could say this movie, at the very least, did meet my expectations. I went in expecting it to be a massive train wreck, and I got it. So, I think tomorrow, for fairly obvious reasons, just going to take a little sabbatical from recording and do anything major. But I will also be writing, and editing, so don't worry about that. So, I guess I'll see you who will get highs again on Wednesday earliest. I mean, no matter what happens later.